Somewhere in your kitchen right now, there is almost certainly something that could genuinely help your cat, and it has nothing to do with an expensive prescription diet or a specialty supplement from the vet's office. Vets know about these foods. They just rarely have the time in a 15-minute appointment to walk you through exactly which ones actually help, how much is safe, and why they work in the first place. Today we are covering 6 ordinary human foods sitting in most kitchens already that can genuinely support digestion, coat health, hydration, and recovery in cats, when used the right way, in the right amount. One quick note before we start. Always check with your own vet before introducing anything new, especially if your cat has an existing health condition. And always keep portions small, since these are meant to support your cat's regular diet, never replace it. This is not a list of miracle cures, and anyone telling you a single food fixes serious illness is not being honest with you. What this actually is a practical rundown of foods vets themselves reach for, constantly behind the scenes, for hydration, appetite recovery, mild digestive trouble, and coat support. The same low-cost, low-risk tools that rarely make it into a rushed office visit, simply because there is never enough time to explain all 6 properly. Let's get into it. Number 1. Plain canned pumpkin. Not pumpkin pie filling, which is loaded with sugar and spices that can genuinely upset a cat's stomach, but plain, 100% pumpkin puree with nothing else added. Pumpkin is high in soluble fiber, which makes it remarkably effective for 2 very different digestive problems at once: mild constipation and mild diarrhea, essentially helping regulate things in whichever direction your cat's system happens to need. It is also frequently recommended by vets for cats dealing with occasional hairballs, since the added fiber can help things move through more smoothly. A small spoonful mixed into wet food a few times a week is typically enough to make a noticeable difference, and most cats, somewhat surprisingly, actually seem to enjoy the taste. Vets often reach for pumpkin first, specifically because it is gentle enough to try before jumping straight to medication, especially for occasional, mild digestive hiccups rather than serious ongoing issues, which should always get a proper vet visit rather than a home remedy. Keep an eye out for canned pumpkin specifically labeled as pure puree rather than pie mix, since even a small amount of added sugar, cinnamon, or nutmeg can genuinely upset a cat's stomach instead of settling it. Number 2. Unsalted bone broth. Bone broth made without onion, garlic, or added salt, all of which can be genuinely harmful to cats even in small amounts, is quietly one of the most useful things you can offer a cat who is a poor water drinker. Cats descend from desert ancestors and often have a naturally low drive to drink from a bowl, even when they need more hydration, which is part of why so many vets recommend incorporating more moisture into a cat's diet directly. Bone broth also contains natural collagen and gelatin, compounds some owners use to gently support joint health in older or arthritic cats, alongside making mealtime considerably more appealing for picky eaters or cats recovering from illness. A small amount poured over dry food or offered on its own can genuinely coax a reluctant cat into drinking more than it otherwise would all day. Boiled or baked chicken, completely unseasoned, no salt, no garlic, no onion powder, no butter, shredded into small pieces, is one of the single most reliable foods vets recommend for cats recovering from illness, surgery, or a temporary loss of appetite. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning their bodies are specifically built to run primarily on animal protein, and plain chicken delivers exactly that in its simplest, most easily digestible form. It is often the first food vets suggest tempting a sick or stressed cat back into eating with, since the smell and texture tend to be appealing even to cats who have gone off their regular food entirely. For healthy cats, a small amount mixed into their normal meal can work as an occasional protein boost or a simple, effective treat. It also happens to be one of the most useful tools a nervous first-time owner can keep in their back pocket during a stressful vet visit or a stressful move, since a small piece of warm, plain chicken can sometimes coax a cat into eating again during a moment when almost nothing else on the menu seems appealing. Number 4. Fully cooked egg. Eggs are a genuinely excellent source of highly digestible protein and essential amino acids, but the key word is fully cooked, since raw egg carries a real risk of salmonella and also contains a protein that can interfere with biotin absorption over time. A small amount of scrambled or hard-boiled egg with no salt, butter, or seasoning added can be a useful occasional addition, particularly for cats who need a gentle protein boost or are recovering their appetite after being unwell. It is also a genuinely popular option among vets for cats that need to gain a little weight back safely, since it packs a meaningful amount of protein into a very small, easy-to-digest portion. Number 5. Salmon or a small amount of fish oil. Cooked salmon, completely plain, with no seasoning, butter, or sauce, and no bones, is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, the same compounds frequently recommended by vets to support skin and coat health, reduce mild inflammation, and even support joint comfort in older cats. This is one of the few items on this list where a small amount goes a genuinely long way, since fish should always stay an occasional addition rather than a daily staple, both because of mercury content in larger fish and because an all-fish diet lacks several nutrients cats need from a properly balanced diet. Used sparingly, though, it is one of the most effective ways to visibly improve a dull, flaky, or thinning coat over the course of a few weeks. Number 6. A few fresh blueberries. Small, low in sugar, and packed with antioxidants, blueberries are one of the rare fruits considered safe for cats in very small amounts, occasionally used as a low-calorie treat alternative to store-bought options that are often loaded with fillers and preservatives. While cats cannot taste sweetness the way we do, meaning the appeal is purely about texture and novelty rather than flavor, plenty of cats still enjoy batting them around or nibbling on one or two as an occasional snack. The antioxidant content is thought to offer mild general health support, though the amount involved in a treat-sized portion is admittedly small, making this less of a dramatic fix and more of a genuinely safe, low-risk way to add a little variety to your cat's routine. Now, an important note that applies to every single item on this list. None of these foods are meant to replace a complete, balanced cat food, and none of them should make up more than a small fraction of your cat's overall diet. Cats have very specific nutritional needs that only a properly formulated cat food can fully meet, and even the safest human foods, in excessive amounts, can throw that balance off or cause digestive upset. Think of everything on this list as an occasional, supportive addition rather than a meal replacement, always introduced slowly, always in small amounts, and always with your vet's input if your cat has any existing health condition, especially anything involving kidneys, diabetes, or a sensitive digestive system. What makes this list genuinely useful is not that any single food here works like magic. It is that most owners have no idea these ordinary, inexpensive items sitting in a normal kitchen can meaningfully support digestion, hydration, coat health, and recovery, often working just as effectively as considerably more expensive specialty products marketed specifically for cats. The next time your cat seems a little off their food, a little dehydrated, or is dealing with mild digestive trouble, there is a real chance the actual solution was sitting in your refrigerator the entire time, not in a bag on a shelf somewhere. Of course, none of this replaces an actual vet visit when something feels genuinely wrong. Prolonged loss of appetite, ongoing vomiting or diarrhea, or any sudden change in behavior always deserves a professional opinion rather than a home remedy alone. But for the small, everyday stuff, mild pickiness, mild dehydration, a coat that could use a little extra shine, these 6 ordinary foods quietly do more heavy lifting than most owners ever give them credit for. If you already knew about 1 or 2 of these but not all 6, you are honestly ahead of most cat owners already. Tell me in the comments which one you are trying first, and if your cat already has a favorite from this list, I would love to hear which one it is. And if this saved you a future trip to the vet just for advice like this, subscribing genuinely helps this channel keep making videos exactly like this one, because there are a lot more of these coming.